Hey guys, so here's part 2 of the 5.8 day 1 notes. We're going to be talking about example 1. We're going to sketch the function f of x equals 1/2 times x plus 3 times x minus 2 squared. Now the first thing is we need to determine the end behavior, basically meaning what is happening with our arrows. Well, notice that we are in factored form. So anytime we're in factored form, to find the degree, we are going to add up all the exponents. Now the x plus 3, that exponent is 1. So I have 1 plus 2, so my degree is 3, and that means it's an odd degree. Okay? Now I need to talk about my leading coefficient. So the leading coefficient is that number in front. In this case, it's a 1/2. That is positive. So which way are the arrows going when we have an odd positive? Well, that means the left arrow is going down while the right arrow is going up. Now our next thing is we need to plot the x-intercepts. Remember, to find the x-intercepts, we take each factor. So in this case, we have an x plus 3 and an x minus 2, right? And we set that equal to 0. So I have x plus 3 equal to 0 and x minus 2 equal to 0. So I get x equals -3 and x equals 2. Now we need to talk about, okay, will we bounce or cross at these x-intercepts? Well, the multiplicity here on the x equals -3 is 1 because the exponent on the factor is 1. So that means we're going to cross because we have an odd multiplicity. Now for the x equals 2, so on that factor x minus 2, we do have a squared. So that's an even multiplicity, so we're going to bounce, okay? So let's go ahead, let's do our next part, because then we'll plot the x-intercepts. Now we're going to fill out the table and plot the points. So for you guys, go ahead and write down these values, -4, 0, 3, onto your XY table. On the homework assignment, I will already give you the x values like I am doing right now. So then all we have to do is actually take these values and plug them into our equation above. So we're going to take -4, plug it into x, 0, plug it into x, and then the 3, plug it into x. So let's go ahead and do that. And when we do that, then we're going to just plug it into our calculator to help us out. So this actually, when we plot more points, we get a little bit more specific when we graph the function. Okay, so let's try when x equals -4. Okay, so we basically have f of x equals 1/2 times, I think we had x plus 3, is that correct? Yes. Okay, so really, wherever the x's are, we plug -4 into there. So plus 3, and then -4 minus 2 squared. Now, we are just going to use a calculator and plug this into our calculator. So make sure either you have your scientific, your graphing, or if you're using the TI-84 app, you can also use that. Okay, first we do 1/2. I need to put that in parentheses, okay? Then I'm going to do the -4 plus 3, make sure that's in parentheses. And then one more parentheses for the -4 minus 2. Make sure if you're using a negative, you use the negative sign and minus for subtraction. Now for here, we're going to use the squared button, and then we're just going to press enter. We get -18. Okay? Okay, so now from there, I'm going to make that blue to keep it the same color. There we go. From there, we now do the next one, 0. So I have f of x, and I'm going to plug 0 into there. So I'm going to say x equals, there we go, and then plug it into our formula. So same thing, I do 1/2. Any place I see x, I'm going to plug in the 0. So that's going to be now 0 plus 3, oops, other way, and then 0 minus 2 squared. Once again, let's go ahead and just plug this into our calculator to make it easier for us. So once again, the 1/2 is going to be in parentheses. Then parentheses, 0 plus 3 into parentheses, and then 0 minus 2, and then we square it. That gives us a +6. Okay. Now our last one is we're going to do the number 3. So I'm going to make that into a green. We do the same thing. So x equals 3. I do f of x equals 1/2. I do 3 plus 3, and then 3 minus 2 squared. Plug that into my calculator. So once again, 1/2. In parentheses, 3 plus 3 into parentheses, and then 3 minus 2, we square it, and we get 3 there. Okay, so we're going to plug that there. Now on your homework, so now that we've kind of gotten all the points, we can plot everything. We're going to plot the x-intercepts and these 3 points onto our graph. Now on your homework assignment, it will tell you what you should go by on your y values, just because you can get some large numbers, okay? I think what we should go here is by 2s, okay? So I am going to go by 2s on my y-axis, okay? So my x is going to stay as 1s because those are very easy to do. My y, I'm going to go by 2s. So now I'm going to go ahead and plot everything. So I have my x-intercepts at -3. I'm going to do a different color so we can definitely see this. There we go. And at 2, okay? Now I need to plot the other points. So we have -4, so I go to the right or left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm down -18. Remember, I am going by 2s here. So I go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, right? Okay, and we're good. So I'm going to plot my point there. Now 0, 6, so I go 2, 4, 6, okay? And then from there, 3, 3. So we are going to be, so when I go over 3, I am going to be kind of in the middle here. Oops, I need to go up. 1, 2, and in the middle for 3 here. There we go, okay? Now, we need to follow everything. So remember, our end behavior is we have a down and then an up, okay? So going from the down, I'm going to go from my -4, 8, -18, okay? So I go there. Now notice at my -3, because my multiplicity was odd, I am going to cross, okay? Now I'm going to hit my y-intercept and come down, and then I'm going to come back up because I do bounce at 2, 0, and I go through that next point, and then I have my arrow up, okay? Now you might be wondering, well, how am I really supposed to know it's going to look like this, especially now that we have other points, okay? Well, you can definitely check yourself, check your answers by plugging it into the graphing calculator. So let's say we go into the y equals. If you have anything here, go ahead and clear it, okay? So let's go ahead and plug in that function and see if it looks similar to what we have so far. So I'm going to do 1 divided by 2, and then parentheses. Now I have x plus 3, and then x minus 2 squared. This is the function that we have right here. I'm just plugging it back in to the graphing calculator, okay? So that's all I'm doing. Now what I can do is press graph. And if it looks similar, yeah, it looks like, okay? So we basically hit boom, boom. So it looks very similar to what we have there, right? Okay, now it's not going to look exactly what we have just because we are going to be missing parts, but basically that's what we have there, okay? Okay, so you can definitely use your graphing calculator to check what you have just to make sure everything works okay for everything we have, okay? There we go. So notice we might want to also look like, it does look like we have the curve and then we go through. So I might change this right here instead of going through there. I'm going to go up and then go through 0, 6 to come back because it does look a little bit different, right? So we can also use our graphing calculator to recheck our work if we need to. But remember, this is still really a sketch. It's not going to look exactly what we have. So I am going to go up a little bit, then through, and boom. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now the last thing that we need to do is find the domain and range. Now notice, remember, domain for every single polynomial function is going to be -infinity to +infinity. Now the range depends if we have an even or odd degree. Notice we do have an odd degree because we said the degree is 3, meaning that the range is also going to be the same thing as the domain. It's going to go from -infinity to +infinity, okay? So that's the nice part with the odd degrees. Your domain and range are going to be exactly the same. Okay, make sure you watch the next part of our 5.8 Day 1 notes.